Do you ever wonder what happens to all your used clothes and fabrics? The Ashwebi from that Owambe party that you're only going to wear once? Or those what was I thinking outfits that you never seem to find where to wear them to? Or even those worn, faded clothes that you just really love but you have to throw away? Chechi Arinze did. It turns out all these clothes go into landfills, oceans, and other water bodies where they harm our environment. We at Workstedi start with Chechi, fashion designer and creative director of a sustainable, feminine, and multifunctional women's wear brand in Lagos, to try to understand what it takes to run a business as part of our new series, Wow!
My name is Chechi Arinze, and I'm a fashion designer and the creative director of Chechi. Chechi is a sustainable women's wear brand that's based in Lagos. First of all, we design clothing only for women, and I like to say for value-driven women. So women that are socially conscious, that care about how and where their clothing is made. Our aesthetic is like feminine, very easy to wear, multifunctional, so clothes that you can wear for like multiple occasions, like something you could wear to the beach and somehow you can also wear that to church and still wear that to brunch, that kind of stuff. And we're sustainable because we try to ensure that our practices leave as little negative impact on the environment as possible. I had this project my final year. I was designing a rehabilitation center for addicts, and it was a vocational center, so they were going to teach them like carpentry, fashion design. And for some reason I decided I wanted to have sculptures in front of the building, and all the sculptures obviously had to be wearing this really elaborate clothing, and my lecturers kept being like, "You don't get, you're spending so much time on the design of your sculptures, how far with the business?" And I did murals around all the whole buildings and stuff. So from there I started thinking that maybe, and then there was this competition, and I remember I submitted my application on the last day, and somehow I ended up being like first runner up. And then people were coming up to me and saying, "Oh, we love your designs, where can we find your store?" And I was like, I don't have a store, like I was still in school, I was still a student. So that made me feel like, okay, maybe this is something that I can do, and it kind of just spiraled from there. After the whole winning that competition thing and blah blah blah, I went on to do my master's in architecture, and then when I was done, I worked with like a fashion magazine for a short while. I did like a fashion internship, so that was like my first entry into the industry. And then I worked with a top fashion designer for about 2 years, and I was like, you know what, right, I'm ready to start my own thing. I'm going to do bespoke. I'll take fabric from people and make their clothing, and also do like ready to wear. And I would make ashwebi clothes and try to squeeze in some ready to wear on the side, and it was draining. So I think 2019 I got into like a creative accelerator, and that was when I started to understand more about like how to structure your business, being a niche business, all of these things, understanding like target markets, how to target clients, and a whole lot of things. And then I won like a mini fashion grant. So with that, I was able to like restructure, phase out the whole bespoke thing to an extent, and start focusing on ready to wear. But then after that, COVID hits, and then that was when I started to sit down and think of like what impact my brand was actually making. And then I started to focus more on like do more research on like sustainability, understand it, why it was important. And then I kind of pivoted into like sustainable ethical production. So my first machine, I had in 95, and I just saved money, and then when I started I bought the first one, and then my mom bought like the other two I had for me, and I was just working with that. And then the grant that I won, when I got that, I bought 2 more machines, and so I kind of bootstrapped initially, and then got a little bit of help here and there to like purchase more machinery. The first one, I guess, is the staff, like retailers. They are just, I don't know, artisans are very different breed of people, and a lot of the time, especially if you're doing stuff that's not the typical ashwebi, they are not used to sewing English designs or like designer English clothing.
Yeah.
So a lot of time it's not so easy to translate what you want to them. A lot of them don't understand things like pattern making. They just want to cut freehand and somebody else should sew. So basically being able to bring your designs to life can be very frustrating. And then their attitude to work. So them coming to work early, them calling to say when they can't make it, them, do you understand, like taking responsibility for their mistakes, all those little things can be very difficult to, like, being able to lead that kind of team. It's not easy, and so that's one area I would think of. And then the bills, they never stop coming, so it can be very frustrating. Like whether you make sales or not, you still have to pay. You have to pay your NEPA bills, you have to pay your rent, you have to pay your salaries, whether or not you're generating revenue. So that part can be very frustrating because it just feels like your business is bleeding money and you're not making as much money fast enough. I use apps like for like my accounting and stuff that I thought are not so fantastic. I use something called Wave Apps, and it just makes everything easy. Even like counts inventory, even though my website does that, and also like having my store on Shopify just makes everything easy for me. I mean, I feel like everybody uses Canva a lot of the time and Adobe Illustrator for like graphics. Yeah, for now those are like the apps and tools I can think of. I like the idea behind it and I think it's pretty cool. I feel like the platform looks very serious, but then that's just me. I don't know what it looks like, and to be honest, it's more important what it looks like on my phone, because that's probably where most people are going to visit anyway. That's for the consumers or the customers and stuff. So, but I really like the idea. I like how you guys have talked about so many different like aspects of it, and I mean the applications are numerous. Right now, we're just focusing on getting investments. So we've like gotten our investments case ready, and then also focusing most of my energy on my export strategy.
If you'd like to see more interesting content like this, like, share, and subscribe, or follow us on our other social media pages at Workstedi _ for Twitter, at Workstedi for Instagram, or go to our website at www.workstedi.com.